can begin. I can begin.
Mm, mm.
Okay. Uh,
Okay.
Good evening,
Uh,
everyone.
Good evening,
Welcome to this
everyone.
webinar by
Welcome to
TEDxVIT
this
Pune.
webinar
My
by
name is
TEDxVIT
Harshita
Pune.
Beghi, and
My
I'll
name
be
is
your host
Harshita
today.
Beghi, and I'll be
So
your host today.
TEDxVIT Pune was
So
started 5 years
TEDxVIT
ago
was
with
started
an aim
5
to
years
bring
ago
out great
with an
ideas
aim to
from the
bring out
community
great ideas
and to
from the
present them to the
community
audience
and to
to
present
make an
them to the
impact.
audience to
Every
make an
edition of
impact.
TEDxVIT Pune
Every edition
has
of
tried to
TEDxVIT Pune
strengthen the
has
motto of
tried
TED,
to
which we
strengthen
all
the
know
motto
is
of TED,
ideas
which we
worth
all know
spreading.
is
So
ideas
today's
worth
webinar
spreading.
is one of
So
our
today's
attempts
webinar is one of our attempts
to address the issues that our community might be facing in this global situation that we're stuck in. Now, in tough times of COVID 19 and the lockdown, we are all in a dilemma about our future. So, to have a conversation about the present situation and its consequences in near future, we have with us Mr. Narendra Goidani to talk about designing the future. Mr. Narendra Goidani is a life coach and a modern age philosopher. The founder of Life School, he has always believed in inspiring people to follow their dreams and to explore their potentials to bring out the best of their abilities. We're extremely glad to have you with us. So, over to you.
Thank you, Arshada. It's always very, very good to be with the Vishwakarma family. More importantly, very beautiful to be with young folks who are taking initiative to get a lot of things done for others. Every time I speak to the youth, I feel their energy, I feel their drive, I feel their dreams, and it excites me even more about the present and the future. So, thank you so much for having me. So, let me take this opportunity to share a few of my thoughts with all of you. But before I move into sharing of my thoughts, here is a disclaimer. I believe that adults don't understand the worlds of the youth right now. The world in which we have grown up, the world in which we have survived, thrived, the world in which we have overcome obstacles, and the world in which the youth stay today is quite different. Quite different. Adults mean well. Adults mean really well when they attempt to guide the youngsters. But they have the youngsters are facing today. Strangeness today is the new normal. The past experiences of life, as far as is concerned, studies is concerned, and the experiences youth have today are so different, it is not the same. Humans as individuals and humankind as a whole increasingly is dealing with things where others have never encountered before. For the first time, we are having super intelligent machines. There is a talk of engineered bodies. There are experiments where algorithms can manipulate emotions with uncanny precision. There are rapid man-made climatic cataclysms which are happening, and the life of knowledge or a skill that you have is becoming shorter. When I was 2021, and if I at that point of time would have said that I want to be a chartered accountant, and I would have studied to be a chartered accountant, and the degree that I got when I was 22 years old would have been enough. The knowledge that I'd acquired would have been enough for the next 50 years of my life. In fact, for the entire working life of mine, with that chartered accountancy degree, I could have done really well. If I had done mechanical engineering, the same will hold true for the next 30 years of my life. But today, the half life of knowledge has come down to about 5 years. So, those of you who are coders, those of you who are engineers, 5 years ago, what used to be the greatest language today is obsolete. 2 years ago, what looked like a great flash might just be a small flash in the pen. Which means today, for the first time, we are in a generation where every 5 years, everything that you know might change. Every 5 years, the skills that you have might become obsolete. Now, this the adults don't know at all. Because in their life, the skills and the knowledge that they had was enough to last them a lifetime. So, hence, I believe while adults mean well, and I am also in that category of adults, though my wife would say I've not grown up in many aspects of my life, And my mother continues to believe I am a small bacha. But for my more practical purposes, let's say I am an adult. And I'm telling you, the world that you have is very, very different compared to the world we ever had. In your world, living with profound uncertainty is not a bug, but it is a feature of life. Having said that, this is also a period with extraordinary opportunities. When we were of your age, um, chartered accountancy, medical science, engineering, and maybe if I can't do anything like this, I will go into arts. Today, there are thousand opportunities. Even if somebody is a good radio jockey and RJ, they earn about a lakh per month at least. Today, if somebody can write well, a content writer, they can earn above a lakh. Today, if you are smart on Instagram and you are very nimble there, you will be able to be a big influencer and earn much more. Friend of mine, Neha Kanabar, she runs something called Unimo, United World of Moms. She has about 3,75,000 who follow her, and she earns close to a crore every year. Now, the beauty about this age is you have opportunities like nobody's business. Now, having said that, the world of the adults and the world of the youth is completely different. Now, in this new world, in the world of the youth, what is it that is required for you to excel well? What is it that is required for you to do well? You know, I live in a world where my son, Neeraj, who's about 24 years old, he's also an engineer, he says by the time I am 30, I would have completed my business of earning money for the rest of my life. After that, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to travel. I'm going to do photography. I'm going to go to an ashram and stay there and learn Vedas. I'm going to trek up the Himalayas. I have only one life to live. And I don't want to live an entire life on somehow managing to run the family and then around 50, 55, probably becoming EMI fry. And in today's world, if you are sharp and if you are fast, you create a product, you have a digital version, you have an app, and by the time you're 30, you can actually become financially independent for the rest of your life. So, what the youth can do, actually live many lives inside one life. Every 5 years, you can do something different. I have a few young friends, they play music by the light and they earn a lot. In the daytime, they interview people and they earn a lot. And they also study because they are sharp and they are dedicated. And they're doing brilliantly well in life. Now, this kind of a world, it has never been seen before. Till now, one person, one job, one thing, everything else is a hobby. But the youngsters today have three sources of earning within 24 hours. It is magnificent. Magnificent. My own niece, when she was studying, every Saturday and Sunday, she would do MCing. And since she was good at MCing, she would earn about 1500 rupees per evening. And there was one day I remember when a single day she was doing MCing in three different places and she earned about 6,000 rupees in a single day. And she's a young student. And today she is doing HR. What I want to say is the opportunities for the future is brilliant. Now it all depends on the kind of shoulders you have and the kind of heart you have. In other words, to sum it for you, there will be just two things that you will need. Just two things. One, a lot of mental flexibility, which means openness. If you are stuck, then you are actually stuck. You are open, the whole world is open for you. So keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. Keep an open mind to learn from all, to listen to all, to interact with many, to give yourself exposure like nobody's business, to talk to people who have been there and done that. Be open. Don't be closed. And second, more importantly, be emotionally very deep. What do I mean by that? You should be able to take failures and rejection like this. You should be able to experiment like this. I have a dear friend of mine. His name is Mustafa. Many of you would have heard about Mustafa. If not heard about Mustafa, you would have experienced his product. Mustafa, his name is Mustafa PC, and he runs a company called ID Fresh. If you haven't heard about ID Fresh, it is a company which makes this idli batter. And it comes in a green and white packet. And that I and D is written, it almost looks like a half circle, the D. He tells me that they just invented something called the Medu Vada maker, where in a pouch there is batter inside, and through the nozzle you can make Medu Vadas. Now, it's very difficult to make great Medu Vada. It is very easy to make great idlis. I mean, you can't make an idli wrong. You need to be a real great artist for you to spoil an idli. And Medu Vada, you need to be a great artist to make a Medu Vada right. He made it as a form of a nozzle. So as you take out a ketchup from a nozzle like that, he created it inside the packet. And it's taken the whole world by storm. His turnover has gone up by about 40%. He's now exporting his material to more than 80 countries. And just because of a nozzle. So when I was speaking with him last Monday, 3 o'clock was my webcon with him. And I was asking him, so Mustafa, did you fail? He said, Naren, my job as an entrepreneur is to fail. The more I fail, the faster I learn. I'm not careless, so I'm not failing those failures which can be avoided, but I'm failing those failures which is necessary for me to learn. And because I failed enough number of times, today we have a product because of which my company today does a turnover of 1,500 crores. He says, as the CEO of a company, my job is to fail. And if I don't have the heart to fail, I cannot make progress in life. So you know what it means? It means either you can live in your comfort zone, because we are very comfortable in the way life is going on. We are very comfortable in the way we do some work. Very, very comfortable. Very, very comfortable. Or we can say, I would love to kiss failures. I'm not scared of failures. Because every failure has the seed of learning inside it. You know, attempting to conduct this, what if the Wi-Fi fails? What if there is a glitch somewhere? We'll learn. No, but what will people say about me? They will say, as long as I don't succeed the next time. In the second attempt, fourth attempt, ninth attempt, you will get it right. After that, people will only speak about the ninth and the 10th and the 11th, which goes right. They won't speak about the first 8, which has gone wrong. Now, this is where you need that emotional resilience, where others' opinion, especially when people don't believe you, or people put you down, or people judge you, they label you as you can't. If those are the moments which creates determination inside you instead of doubts inside you, the future is in your pocket. So when I talk to youngsters and ask them, let's say you are graduating from VIT, say, would you like to do your master's from IIT? Would you like to do your master's from MIT US? And half of them would be like, oh, I'm not sure. Give it a shot. No, but I don't know. Even if you have 1% chance, give it a shot. If you haven't tried, you have anyway failed. But if you got through, so give yourself a chance. Don't let anybody in the world reject you. Intellectually, I know you know these things. Emotionally, you need to get ready for this. So when we say emotionally strong, we don't mean people who don't cry, people who are detached, people who are like pathar. We mean people who have depth. When you take a bucket of water out from the ocean, it makes no difference to the ocean. You take a small pebble off from Himalayas, it makes no difference to Himalayas. You take a bucket of sand from Sahara Desert, it makes no difference to Sahara Desert. Similarly, somebody chips away at you by putting you down, by being sarcastic, by having doubts on you. Expand yourself in those moments to be huge. The more emotionally you are resilient, the greater will be your grit and determination. The greater is your grit and determination, the faster you will learn. The faster you learn, the more progressive you are and the more updated you are. The more progressive and updated you are, the more you are in demand. The more you are in demand, the world is more in your pocket.
Right.
So, with that, I wish all of you all the best. Have an electrifying life. Whatever happens in your life, always believe in yourself. If you ask me just for one thing, I'll say whatever happens in your life, always believe in yourself. I very strongly believe that the creator does not create junks. He has no time to create junk. He has time only to create masterpieces. The creator who can create a solar system in a way where everything is hanging, the earth, the moon, the sun are all going around each other, and created the beautiful nights, sky, and the stars, and the flowers, and the fragrance, and the butterflies. Why would that creator create junk? The same creator who created that magic and miracle is the same creator who's created you and me. So we are born to be great. Doubts slow us down and takes that life force away from us. So stay confident even when you fail. Be determined even when things are not going right. Irrespective of what the world tells you, keep believing in yourself. And with that, Harshada, I hand it over to you. If you have some questions, I would love to take those questions now.
Yes. So the first of all, so I would like to say that as a youngster sitting over here, in these few minutes, I've been a lot motivated by what you said. And so you said that a lot has changed over probably your generation or when you were young and this present generation. And you also said that it is important to accept failures. So, do you think that this generation has grown probably better to accepting their failures or something like that?
Uh, See, in my generation, there was no cases of suicides. By the way, I'm still young. You are younger.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, in my generation, there was no suicides. Today, there is. In my generation, people won't waste money. Today, you find people wasting money. In my generation, we didn't have too much peer pressure. Today, there is loads of peer pressure. In my generation, we did not ape others.
Right.
Today, we find a lot of aping happening, mindless aping. You know. So, is your generation smarter? 1000%. Is your grasping ability greater? Absolutely. Are emotionally you more resilient? You need to be more resilient. Now, having said that, in my generation, we didn't have too much pressure. If I get 65%, I'll get into medical college. So the expectation was not too high. So maybe that's why emotionally there was not too many demands from us. But in your time, there is a lot of emotional demands. Like I know at home, my younger daughter, who must be probably your age, Mehek, the younger one is about 19 years old.
Okay.
And she's expected to do well in Kathak. She's expected to learn a lot of stuff otherwise at home. She's also expected to bring more than 95% in her academics. She's also expected to be very good in athletics. She was the sports champion and the sports captain of her school. Okay. Now, all this is normal.
Hmm.
In our generation, if I'm a good student with 65%, I'm a genius. So it's very difficult to compare these two generations objectively
Hmm.
because everything was different.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But
Right.
so because the pressures on you are huge, therefore the emotional resilience which is required is greater.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's not about compared to my generation, your generation. In these circumstances and situation, your generation will need greater emotional resilience because the pressure is much greater. And because the pressure is greater, the rewards are also much greater. What we will take 30 years to achieve, you can achieve in 10 years.
Right. So it's proportional. And so when you say that there's a lot of pressure on us, does this pressure come out of the like competition, and does it make us, more productive?
Pressure can make us very productive when it is pressure. The moment pressure becomes stress, it becomes counterproductive.
Hmm.
In material science, there is a pressure test and there is a stress test.
Right.
Pressure test means itna pressure lena chahiye. So if I am having, let's say, iron goes through a pressure test. If it can take 250 psi per square inch, it is good material, pass. Then there is a stress test. Let me see when it can break.
Hmm.
Pressure, if it brings focus, it is awesome. Pressure, if it distracts me and makes it stress, then it's worrisome.
Yeah. Right.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yes, some.
And so when you say that pressure, when it is focused, so it's positive. So does this somewhere come from believing in oneself, and like how do we start believing in ourselves?
That's a very beautiful question. First, understand your strengths. You win the game of life based on the strengths that you have. Okay? Not all weaknesses can become your strength.
Mm.
Like a fish has a weakness, it cannot climb a tree, but it wants to climb a tree like monkey. It'll fail and it'll die.
Yeah.
Similarly, if the monkey wants to develop the strength of flying in the sky, it will die. So understand your strengths. To understand what distracts you and regulate those distractions. When I get distracted, I start feeling like a victim. I start thinking life is not in my control.
Mm.
And the moment I think life is not in my control, obviously my confidence goes down.
Yeah. Naturally.
So start understanding what distracts you and learn to regulate that. I'm not saying eliminate it, but regulate it. Like when I'm having this beautiful webinar with you, my phone will be on silent. In fact, my phone will be offline. By mistake, nothing should ring.
Mm.
Anybody needs me, I can go back to them after an hour.
Right.
Now, if I don't know how to manage this, as I am talking to you, I will say, "Excuse me, 1 minute. Sorry, where were we? Can you just come again?"
Mm. Mm.
And the whole momentum is lost.
Yeah.
So stay in control of your distractions. That is point number two. Point number one is learn what is your strengths.
Right.
Point number two, learn how to regulate your distractions. Point number three, have clarity on what knowledge are you going to pursue. This is called disciplinary knowledge. Let's say today I sit down to watch TV. 1 hour I'm watching TV, I'm seeing the news. I get a lot of knowledge. But how relevant is that knowledge to my life? Zero relevance.
Right.
Then somebody sends me one WhatsApp. Akshay Kumar donated 25 crore, this fellow donated 45, full list. And I read the whole list. What will I do with that knowledge?
Right. It's just pretty general, but not useful.
Zero use.
Mm.
So I'm not saying stay away from it. I am saying develop something called disciplined knowledge. Now, is there a piece of knowledge that you should get? Is there a piece of knowledge you need to hunt? For example, what is the stream that you are doing? Studying?
Yeah. I'm doing electronics and telecommunication.
Electronics and telecommunications, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, which are the companies in the world which are doing some cutting edge work in electronics and telecommunication?
So the first one at the top of my mind, probably more towards the software side of it, is NVIDIA.
Yes.
Then, yeah, mostly the students are inclined towards software. So there's Microsoft, there's Google, there's
Now, I said electronics and telecommunication, right?
yes, sir.
So who is supplying the equipments to Airtel, Vodafone, Reliance Jio? Who are the people who are doing the latest work in electronics and telecommunication?
Mm.
Where do they pick their engineers from? Last year, whom did they employ? And of those people, which are the colleges that they prefer? And can you go on LinkedIn and send an invite to 100 of them who have been picked up by these companies and ask them, what are you working on nowadays?
Mm.
Now you had, let's say, 1 hour time. And in this 1 hour time, what have you done? You have hunted for knowledge which will help you in your career.
Right.
You will find top 5 companies. You will find 25 top colleges. You will find what those people are working on right now. And you will bug your teachers in your college with, sir, in this domain, in this work, can we get some kind of an exposure? In India, is somebody doing this kind of a work? By the time you complete your engineering, you are way ahead of others because you hunted for disciplined knowledge.
Mm.
Otherwise, you can also have a discussion with your group on last year, which company gave the highest package to us?
Right.
So that is what I mean by when I say disciplined knowledge. So if you can keep a mastery over your distractions, and if you can hunt for disciplined knowledge, you will have an edge over everybody else.
Mm. It just has to be in the right direction.
Absolutely. Like they say, the best camera in the world cannot click a picture if the focus is not right.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Something to think about.
Yes.
And so when you say that it is about going towards a direction, a specific, having focus, you also said that there are skills that we have probably learned 2 years ago and they are not in demand anymore. So then how do we develop emotional resilience towards that? Or how do we prepare ourselves to be always at par with whatever is going on?
Harshita, somebody is creating the future right now.
Believe it, not yet.
3 years ago, I was speaking with somebody in Apple, and they were saying in 5 years' time, Apple will become the biggest device manufacturer for medical science in the whole world. It is not going to be a telephone company. It is not going to be a Mac notebook from which I am speaking with you. Now, you would have heard in the iWatch which they have, now there is a possibility of finding out ECG. Now, ECG can be done with the iPhone, which means in my 1 lakh rupee iPhone, I'm carrying an ECG machine, and if my father ever goes through a heart attack or a bypass surgery, I will immediately buy that for him. And if there is an erratic behavior in his heart, I should know about it immediately. There will be so much prevention which will happen. Now tell me, which child in the world would not want to buy that for the parents to ensure that their heart is always beating properly? Today they are only in generation 4, but they will achieve this when generation 7 iPhone comes out, generation 7 iWatch comes out. iPhone is already the biggest watch manufacturer in the whole world. Entire Switzerland put together, iPhone makes more than that. And iPhone is 1 lakh rupees for a watch. It's not a 799 rupees watch.
Right.
So when did they start thinking about the future?
Probably even 10 years before that.
Perfect. Now your job is to find out today who is designing the future. Which are the companies which are involved in futuristic work? In your field, what is the future? Don't go by the jobs in Naukri.com. Don't go by last year's placements. They're indicative. But the right indication is who is building the future, which company is building the future. Follow that company thoroughly. Send a request to the MD, director, head of mechanics, head of electronics. Build your own source of information.
So, like they say, it is about networking.
Networking with the right people in the right direction. Networking not for the sake of knowing some CXOs and some chairmen.
Right.
Right? You must become a chipku with them. Chipku.
Understand whom to go to. That's probably it.
Beautiful. Please go ahead.
And sir, so when you say that we should focus on the futuristic work that is being done, now considering the current situation of COVID and the losses that are being faced, how is the futuristic work being affected by this?
Okay, let me tell you this. I don't know how. Were you good in history?
Not that much.
Okay. Do you love to understand how the world works?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So I will share something with you which Warren Buffett had said. You know who's Warren Buffett?
Yeah.
Second richest man in the world and one of the biggest philanthropists the world has ever seen. And a very, very wise person. In the 20th century, the US has gone through 2 world wars.
Okay.
They have gone through many expensive military conflicts, which include Korea, which includes Vietnam, which includes the Middle East, which includes the Afghanistan. You know, many, many expensive military conflicts by which it earned nothing. No goodwill, no revenue, no profits. It was pure expense. It has gone through a Great Depression.
Yeah, so like one more time, the same simulation.
It has gone through a huge flu epidemic where millions were killed and many small epidemics where lakhs were killed. It has gone through the financial meltdown of 2008, which might be there in your memory or maybe just outside your memory. You might be 5-6 years old at that point of time, where the whole Wall Street came crashing down. And it wiped out about 40% value from the US financial markets. A disgraced president who had to resign. And yet, the kind of cutting edge work that US does today, probably only Israel does, But compared to the size of the financial markets US has developed today, nobody else has done. Before World War One, the Dow index was 66 points. And when Warren Buffett made this quote, Dow index was 11,498 points.
Wow.
So, if you look at a long term, and as a young person, you must have a long term view. If you look into, let's say, a 5-year, 10-year horizon, the future is more brilliant than ever before in humanity. Look at the positive side of COVID. The whole world has come together.
Hmm.
All the governments are talking together. All the wars have stopped. There is not a single suicide bomb which has happened. Where are you talking about conflicts in the world now?
It is only about one issue.
For the first time, police people all over the world are getting respect. You know, otherwise police को कितनी गाली मिलती है?
Huh.
They are getting respect. After a long time, doctors are getting respect back. So look at the positive side. Every now and then, humanity is challenged with some unfortunate event. In these times, people who are focused and positive are in the right frame of mind to develop the most and get the most. So, like they say, in times of war, prepare for peace, and in times of peace, prepare for war.
Right.
And Lao Tzu. So, I believe the future is brilliant. I believe India will bounce back much faster than the whole world. For the first time ever, we are hearing presidents and prime ministers of country saying that the prime minister of India is my dear friend, he's a savior to humanity, he's answering humanity's prayers. We have, after Mahatma Gandhi, nobody else in the world has been praised so much by the heads of government. So India, I'm not speaking about a person per se, but I'm speaking about people are looking at India now as an equal and a country which deserves all the respect.
Right. So
Now somebody like you goes anywhere in the world, they won't look down you and you say, oh, you're from India. That won't happen anymore. You know, if you develop certain habits like doing error-free work, doing work on time, giving what we have promised, these basic things, the world is your oyster.
Right. So it is about like having optimism all throughout.
And I'm not being optimistic for the sake of optimism. I'm being very practical because I'm talking to you based on data.
Right.
Right? It's not that the night is dark and I'm saying, Arshada, believe one day sun will rise. I'm not doing that.
We can see it.
You can see it, absolutely.
Right. And so here is a question from our audience. The first, initially you mentioned about this friend of yours who said that okay, might try. So people are asking, should we take risks in our 20s when we have when that is the most productive times in our lives, or should we actually plan and get a safe job and settle?
Darlings, a settled life is no more possible. The concept of a settled life does not exist. It's about
Struggle.
you doing whatever you're doing really well, you being very open and learning very fast, and maybe you creating a financial nest for yourself which might last you for a lifetime or might last you for a few years. Move into the world of excitement. And the greater your emotional resilience, the more risks you can take. It all depends on how fast can you learn and how fast will you bounce back. If somebody is scared by nature, then they should not take risks. then they should take dhire dhire, chota chota steps, perfectly okay for them.
Hmm.
If somebody says, I don't mind failing because I learn fast, like Mustafa of ID Fresh, do you know about, now this is what Mustafa was telling me, about 4,200 years ago, 4,200 days ago, that is about 12 years ago, he started with an investment of 50,000 rupees and a place which was 30 square feet.
Okay.
And today is a turnover of 1,500 crores.
Right.
So it completely depends from person to person. Now, having said that, any idea that you have, always test that idea a few times. For example, you think there is a world-class app that I can create. My son, who was in when he was in engineering, he decided to create an app, and his app was students always are in shortage of money and they don't want to go back to their parents to ask for more pocket money. Let's say Harshada wants to get something done to treat my hair, and that will take 3,000 rupees. She doesn't want to go back to her parents and say 3,000 do. Mummy and Papa might say sab theek hi to hai, kya zarurat hai? You know. So she says, I want to do some gig and I want to earn 3,000. And let's say Harshada is very good in dance. So Neeraj, my son, said, I'll create an app where I will connect the talents which the youth in college have and offer it to people saying, do you want somebody to come and teach these things to you? We will do it at 300, 500, 800,000. Let's say you are very good in subject. You are very good in studies. And somebody out there says, मेरे को एक ही chapter समझना है. I don't want to go to a tuition teacher. Can you just teach this to me? I'll give you $1,000. So my son was convinced this is mind blowing. This is bigger than Facebook, bigger than Instagram, bigger than WhatsApp idea. I'm going to shake the whole world and I will give loan to the Sheikh of Dubai. That much money I'm going to make. That's the kind of high you have. When you have an idea which you think this is going to change the whole world, it's a very good idea. Why don't you test it with a few people? I know a WhatsApp group of 50 people and offer your services to 500 people. Let's see कैसे कॉमर्स होता है, कैसे कनेक्शंस होते हैं, कैसे शेड्यूलिंग होता है. Harshada said, okay, I will go to teach. I'll take $1,000. That auntie is ready. That auntie paid money to me. And I am telling Harshada, okay, I'll pass on the money to you. Complete it, I'll give you $700. Let's say Harshada has a boyfriend. You have one?
No.
So let's say Harshada has a boyfriend, and the boyfriend in the evening around 4 o'clock says, you have to come with me. And he creates some magic, and Harshada says, I can't say no to him. Chalo chodo jane do unko. And that auntie over there is waiting. And when you don't turn up, she calls Neeraj and she fires him. You took money from me, you are cheating, I'll go and complain to the police. Suddenly poor Neeru realizes, forget about giving the loan to Sheikh of Dubai. This idea has a lot of flaws.
Right.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but this idea needs 100 developments before it becomes a working idea. Now, when I speak about risk and when you ask about risk, I can take a risk of 10,000 rupees on this. But let's say Neeru comes to me and says, Papa, I need 25 lakhs. I'm going to employ 5 people. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I give 25 lakhs to him and he blows up that money because there were a lot of loopholes in that entire thinking. Now, that might break your back and you might decide, Baba, business is not for me. I better go back to SaaS. So have a prototype. Improve your prototype. Take as much time as it is required. But once it becomes a workable model, then you're ready for the next level of risk, not till then.
Yes, absolutely. So, such prototypes when you talk about, so I think that there are certain online platforms that are suddenly rising because of this situation, and there are online learning platforms coming up. So, do you think that the current situation might increase the importance of online learning?
Oh my God, Harshada, what would have taken the world 10 years, the world will adopt in 6 months.
Right. Can see now.
है ना?
Yeah.
Because let's say Bharti, my wife, she teaches in a school. She teaches in IB school. She teaches in Symbiosis. Now she's a visual arts teacher over there. Now, while she is very comfortable using the mobile for music, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and sometimes Gmail also,
Hmm.
she was never comfortable in teaching people painting and drawing. Now, she's a painting teacher, she's an art teacher. She said, this is not going to happen. This is not workable at all. She had a block, and nothing in the world could make her break that block. Now, in comes COVID 19, schools closed. Now, schools say all of you will have to teach through Google Classroom.
Hmm.
Now, my madam has to learn.
Right.
Now, as she learns, she's finding that other students, so she had about 30 children coming home to learn from her, and she's finding that those children are not coming anymore because
Hmm.
of 19. So she said, since I'm learning in school, can I also teach them? She started, some students started learning. What she may have never learned, now she has learned. So now if she has to do advanced level of painting, she is open to learn.
Right.
Second, the children whom she is teaching, they are in class 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they are very comfortable learning through internet.
Hmm.
So as they grow, they are already comfortable in learning.
Hmm.
They wouldn't have done till they had gone to college.
Right.
Because children and learning is what? Baba Black Sheep on the phone,
Hmm.
some cartoons, entertainment. But
Yeah.
now they are learning. So what would have taken 10 years has been fast forwarded to less than 6 months time.
Hmm. It probably wouldn't even have happened.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's a
So,
huge boom for all edtech companies.
hmm. So when we see this online learning, there are two sides to it. One being that after having experienced online learning and work from home, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing that it is actually working, do you think it will become a norm after the lockdown ends? And the second side of it being, because most of the things happen online, would that result in probably job losses for some people?
So there are two different questions.
Yeah.
One, I don't think human beings will ever shift completely to online.
Hmm.
Now, again, taking example of Bharti, since I spoke about Bharti, while she can teach a lot, she cannot do corrections online,
Hmm. Right.
right? She cannot do corrections online. While I can talk to you face to face, let's say there are 100 more friends over there who are listening, I can't see their faces. I don't know their body language.
Hmm.
I don't know whether they're having chai and biscuit right now
Yeah.
or they're listening. I don't know whether the laptop is open and they're.
Hmm.
So I can't take a deeper dive depending on the audience.
Right.
In a
Right.
classroom, let's say Professor Vijay Gaikwad is teaching and the class is in front, or let's say Shripad is teaching in your case, he can see the class, right?
Yeah.
So he sees doubt on your face. Even if you're not saying it, he will say, Arshada, you didn't understand this? I said, sir, I have a small question. He corrects it and
Huh.
moves on. Now, if he had not seen your face, you would have left that non-understood part, which would have been followed by enough things which are not understood. Now,
Hmm.
when will you rectify that?
Right. The chain will continue.
So, what will now happen is there will be brilliant efficiency.
Hmm.
You know, there are times when a classroom only information is passed out.
Right.
That can be done digitally. You don't have to go to college to submit your project.
Hmm.
That can be done digitally.
Huh.
Many interviews need not happen by companies coming to the canvas, come to the campus. That can be done digitally.
Physically.
So suddenly we'll realize there is so much that can happen digitally, and there is some things for which we need to meet. See,
Hmm.
after all, human beings are social animals, right?
Right.
We would love to meet each other for a
Hmm.
hug, for a touch, for a laughter together. You can't have spontaneous laughter online.
Yeah.
And when I'm in trauma, when I'm going through a bad time, I would need touch. I
Hmm.
would to meet eyes to eyes. So this magic will never go.
It is a sense of personal presence, probably, we can say.
And college life, yeah, everything in college life is in college. I mean, it's not about studies, but life.
Right.
The katta that you have, the canteen you have, the romance you have, the first few heartbreaks that you have. Now, all this magic happens in college, na?
Hmm. Not
It,
online.
हम लोग यार.
Right.
So both are here to stay. But there'll be a blend. Now it might be 50-50. Earlier it might have been 85% college, 15% digital. Now
Hmm.
it's become 50%, 50%.
Right. So,
And to answer the second about job loss,
hmm.
my darlings, tell me when job loss had not happened in this world.
Hmm.
पहले वो हल चलाते थे ना, ox,
Ah. Ah.
and farming used to happen through that.
Yeah.
Tractors came, job loss. Tally software came, now all Munimjis, job loss.
Ah.
So job loss will always happen. Cars came, all the horsewalas, job loss.
Hmm.
You can't prevent change. And that is why, if I go back to where we opened, having an open mind
Hmm.
becomes crucial.
Right.
When I do a business program, I always tell them, are you fighting tomorrow's war with yesterday's weapon?
Hmm.
Or are you fighting tomorrow's war with tomorrow's weapon?
Right. Are you adapting to it?
I have to anticipate, I have to learn. Like again, we said, half life of knowledge, skills, gone down to 5 years.
Hmm.
Imagine somebody knows COBOL and they're still wanting to create their life through COBOL or JS Angular 1. मतलब कहाँ आगे चला गया, तुम कहाँ पीछे हो, तो उसका भी तो जॉब लॉस हो रहा
It's getting outdated.
है. Absolutely. You go to the airport, कुली नहीं है अभी. रेलवे स्टेशन में कुली बहुत कम है क्योंकि ट्रॉली आ गया है.
हाँ.
तो क्या रोकोगे ना तुम?
Hmm. So it's always going to be there.
And it's going to become faster.
Hmm. Right.
Faster, very fast.
Right. And um, so you talked about final year students missing their last college experience, but um, there are also students who had thought about further education, applying for some things, or even about their graduation. So now, how does this affect them? So there's a complete uncertainty about that.
Okay. There are some things which are in your control, and there are some things which is not in your control. At any given point of life, there will be enough things which is not in your control, and there are enough things which is in your control.
Hmm.
Right now, what is in your control, you focus on that. आज कंट्रोल में क्या है? You can do so many courses. You can do a course through Harvard, Stanford, MIT.
Hmm.
Right?
Right.
You can build your body. You can become very fit. You can learn meditation. You can have extraordinary bonding at home.
Hmm.
You can do a self-awareness class where you understand, okay, these are the blocks that I have. This is the fear that I carry. This is where I get hurt very fast. I'm not able to forgive and move on. I don't have a sense of humor. There are so many things about you which can be developed. उधर दिमाग लगाना. If you had to run your family through earnings, then it's a little difficult situation.
Hmm.
But I assume that most of you over here do not have the responsibility to run your family.
Right. We are the ones being taken care of.
So you focus on what is in your control. Two, and I love to say this, there's this guy called Joel Barker. Now, any of you who likes to listen about vision and wants to set a vision for yourself, my friend Ganesh Natarajan, who's from Zensar, who's I think also on the board of VIT, he always speaks very highly about Joel Barker. He's the guru of vision setting. Joel Barker says, your 9 feet by 9 feet is always in your control.
Hmm.
You are the center, whether it's a square and 4.5 inches both sides, you want to create a radius. In that 9 feet by 9 feet, can you ensure there is happiness?
Hmm.
Can you ensure there is positivity? Let's say, for example, Papa is a little anxious at home.
Hmm.
He, let's say, is a businessman and business is closed and he doesn't know where the earnings are going to happen from. He has to take care of employees, he has to make some salaries, and he's a little anxious about, I don't know what will happen to my future. He looks at this kid, Harshada, and says, such a nice kid. I don't know what will happen to a job that she wants.
Hmm.
Okay, now what can you do? You can take some oil in your palm and tell Papa, let me give you some head massage.
Right.
And for 5 minutes, give him one head massage and say, you are a Superman. Uh, Nobody can climb Mount Everest without going down some slopes.
Hmm.
You know, start from Lukla in Nepal, from where the Everest base camp and then the Mount Everest starts, and from there straight keep climbing to Mount Everest.
Huh.
You go थोड़ा तो नीचे कहीं कहीं आता है, which is okay. A happy person can go through the biggest of tragedies and traumas effortlessly. An unhappy person, even in good circumstances, is still sad.
Hmm.
So, how about Harshada saying, I will ensure my family is laughing? Then you go to your mother and say, tell me about your childhood.
Hmm.
Who took care of you? What was strange about your childhood? Who helped you? Did you ever fight? And bring mummy and papa together and say, tell me a little about your romance.
Huh.
You know, the whole atmosphere in the house can be so loving, so electrifying, so positive. So life में तुमको ये chance नहीं मिलेगा.
Hmm.
To make money, to create a career, to go up the corporate ladder. I mean, if Harshada is 19, 20, she will do that for anyway 30, 40 years.
Huh.
So 3, 4 weeks थोड़ा खुशियों में busy हो जा.
Huh.
है ना?
Right. Right.
Every morning just ask mama, mama, how can I help you at home?
Hmm.
And she will give you small work. अच्छा बेटा कपड़े घड़ी कर दे. It's a small work, but it takes 5 minutes, and for her, 10 things like this for five minutes is 1 hour. Forget about everything else. She feels that her daughter is helping her. This feeling itself will give her so much relaxation.
Hmm.
देखिए अल्टीमेटली खाने पीने के लिए कितना चाहिए? हो,
Minimal.
हो जाएगा मैनेज.
Huh.
To create an atmosphere of positivity by focusing on things which are in your control. Don't bother about things which are not in your control. I mean, just to give you a parallel, my sister Anita stays in US.
Hmm.
She's in very close to Atlanta. In her city, 22,000 people are infected with COVID-19. In Pune, we don't have 100 people affected.
Hmm. Right.
That city has 22,000. Tell people, आप तो खुश हो यार.
Huh.
And things are not as bad as it looks. It's our negativity which makes things look very bad.
Huh.
Positivity gives you solutions. Negativity makes things worse than what it actually is.
Hmm. So taking time to like reflect upon ourselves, getting together.
First, take time to be happy.
Hmm.
Then, take time to create an environment of happiness.
Right.
And then focus on your growth and development, which is possible in this time.
Hmm.
With a few friends, we were having this competition. Every day, let's complete reading one book.
Huh.
I have about 500 books which I have bought and not read, and always would say, time nahi hai yaar, time nahi hai yaar, time nahi hai yaar. अभी है टाइम, चलो पढ़ लो.
रोज एक.
रोज एक, कितना मजा आएगा.
So it's like the books or maybe the things that we engage ourselves in. So we're still getting an experience of outside without actually being outside.
Brilliantly said. Brilliantly said.
And so when you said that India will be the first one to bounce back from all of this, um, do you think that as a nation we have responded well?
I think we have responded extraordinarily well.
Hmm.
My darlings, in spite of we being the second most populated country in the whole world, we are not even in top 10. If a hospital has to be established, 2.5, 3 years goes. To make the whole nation ready, what we have been able to achieve in about 3-4 weeks' time is miraculous. I believe no country in the world has been able to respond as well as India has done. And we have friends and we have clients all over the world. I mean, people in Brazil, people in Spain, people in Italy, people in UK, people in France, US, they're all supposed to be developed countries, right? With brilliant infrastructure. And what has happened over there? What are the numbers coming from there?
Growing by thousands and 2000s, probably every
Deaths.
like that.
There are so many days when we hear about 1,000 deaths.
Right.
So what more can you expect from a country of India's size? Anything else is impractical. I mean, if anybody says India has not responded well, I will tell them, even if somebody is running on water, you might look at them and say he's running because he doesn't know how to swim.
Huh. Right.
What we have done is extraordinary and the people have cooperated well. And Harshada, we are a part of some organizations which are doing a lot of good work on the ground. Crores have materialized like this from good people. In my office, there is a lady who works. Her salary is 14,000 rupees. 14,000. She writes a message and says, please don't give me salary for this month. This is the least I can do for what is happening to our country. While we read about, big organizations where people are given one day salary, she's given her entire month's salary and her earning is 14,000. She's not earning 14 lakhs. कि एक महीना कुछ नहीं कमाया तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. 14,000 is her salary. कितना बचता है उसमें? कैसे वो कैसे मैनेज करेगी? A friend of mine shared a story about somebody in Calcutta, Subhash Chandra Chatterjee, if my memory is right, 93 years old. He calls the policeman to his house and the policeman thought, very old man, oh my God, something would have happened. भाग के उसके घर में गए. And this guy has fought in the freedom fight. He makes a check of 10,000 rupees and gives it to the Chief Minister's Relief Fund, saying, I'm already old and this is the savings that I have. Can I contribute 10,000? मतलब कमाल हो रहा है, कमाल. And I think this magic is very beautifully happening in our country. So I am very, very proud of my country, very proud of how India has responded, very proud of the way Indians per se largely have responded. Now, don't tell me about some black sheep who are here and there. I choose not to focus on them. They're always going to be there. A rose plant can never happen without thorns, which is absolutely okay. And because of them, the glory about all these good workers is even higher. So as a nation, Mera Bharat Mahan, I love my country.
Yeah, and these are the times when we actually see the best out of people coming out. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, in my housing society where I'm staying, ladies have got together, God knows from where they caught some vendors. And every week, twice, the vegetable ka gadi is coming. One day, one watermelon car came. Suddenly, somebody has managed to find mangoes also, God knows from where.
Right.
Mango ka, and these are all housewives. You know the potential they have? Mind blowing. I think India has done really well. Really, really
So this is something that we'll always be proud of as a nation. That when we talk about this later, so 2020, India was the one that survived in the best way.
well. Absolutely. I mean, India won the first 2020 cricket championship also, led by Mahendra Singh Dhoni. India won the first 2020 championship. So this 2020 also, we are only going to win.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, and so now that we've had a long conversation, it was about focusing ourselves, coming up with things to do. So, how do we develop the required discipline for all the advice that you have given?
If you like yourself, if you are sincere about yourself,
Hmm.
then discipline is easy.
Right.
If you don't like yourself, and if somebody thinks they're not good enough at all, then discipline will be a little difficult.
Hmm.
For any reason, if you think low about yourself, be in touch with people who have discipline.
Right.
This is the biggest antidote.
Hmm.
So, for example, look at what I shared with you. Pune has less than 100 cases.
Huh.
Near Atlanta, they have 22,000 cases. Now, how can I be very happy and excited about being in Pune if I see only यार पुणे में 100 लोगों को हो गया, पुणे में 100 लोगों को हो गया?
Hmm.
What I immediately create a parallel which is much bigger. 22,000 है, पुणे में 100 मतलब क्या कुछ भी नहीं.
कुछ भी नहीं.
It is no more अरे बाप रे पुणे में 100 लोग हैं.
So, looking at the bigger picture.
When I am not disciplined and Harshada is disciplined, all I will do is I will call her. Hey Harshada, क्या कर रही है? And Harshada might say, Naren, is it okay if I speak after 1 hour? I'm just in the middle of a course that I'm doing. You're doing some course? Which course are you doing? Oh, I'm doing this course. This is a beautiful thing that I found on YouTube. You want me to share the link with you, Naren? अच्छा, share. Like if I'm in touch with Harshada and she's disciplined, I'll say, चले यार अपन भी थोड़ा कुछ कर ही लेते हैं. I should not call somebody who's more useless than me.
Right.
So be in touch with the right kind of people. Arshad, I cannot overemphasize the need to be with the right kind of people. 3, finally, if you think you cannot focus for a long time, focus and then have a celebration time. Focus, relax, focus, relax, focus, relax. And in that relaxed time, pamper yourself. So let's say I love my chai and I love my khari biscuit. Okay, I love to have this. Okay, so I will have the program with you with focus. I'm not going to eat as I'm having the program with you. But after this 1 hour, 15-minute session is done, then for next 15-20 minutes, I'm not going to do anything.
Right.
I'll chill. I'll pull my wife's legs. I'll have some fun. If my daughter is very focused and doing some studies, I will do my best to distract her. Do some masti, create some good environment, stand in the balcony and sing a song very loudly when somebody is walking. You know, create all kind of masti, be very naughty for 15-20 minutes, half an hour, and then go back to 1.5 hours of focus work. Now, Harshada might be able to sit and work for 8 hours non-stop. जय हो, उसके पास सरस्वती का वरदान है, मेरे पास नहीं है, लेकिन मैं 1 घंटे के लिए फोकस कर सकता है।
हाँ.
तो हर्षदा 8 घंटे करेगी, मैं 5 घंटे करूंगा। 5 घंटे में मेरा 3 घंटे का डिस्ट्रैक्शन रहेगा, लेकिन 5 घंटा फोकस किया ना।
हम्म.
मैं हर्षदा जैसा नहीं हूं, इसके लिए मेरे को कल से फोकस चालू करना नहीं, मेरे को आज से करना है। 5 घंटा करूंगा, चलेगा मेरे को।
हाँ.
And I go back again to what I discussed with you earlier. You remember what I said? Disciplined knowledge.
Yes.
Focus on that. मेरे को एक्चुअली क्या चाहिए मेरे लाइफ में डेवलप करने के लिए? चलो वो डिसिप्लिन नॉलेज है. This is a time when you can reach out to your professors. Call them and say, "Sir, how's your life? You are adapting much more than we need to. Ultimately, the results, then you will be accountable."
Right.
So, is there any Harshada can help you in executing your mind, your work? Are there a few students who are not responding? Do you want me to call 5 of them and say, "Okay, Baba, what happened? Are you not listening? You have not submitted your papers. Is there any way I can help you?" Can you imagine what kind of a blessing you will get from those professors?
They'll probably be like a lot overwhelmed than I can even think of.
है ना? तो इस समय ये सब करो ना.
हाँ.
If you do all this, na, you are balancing studies, you're balancing masti, you're balancing 9 feet by 9 feet ocean of happiness, you're balancing making a difference by reaching out to your professors. बहुत अच्छे से होगा. I mean, discipline का इतना बड़ा issue नहीं आएगा.
Right. And so you said कि थोड़ा बीच में मस्ती करेंगे, and then there will be something like that you do to chill. So there are a lot of people over here who have reading as a hobby. So when you said that you decided to read one book every day, do you think you have some recommendations for our audience regarding books? Some good books you would like to recommend?
You want me to tell it to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me find out where is a book a day. Where is my folder? Okay, there is a book called Ikigai.
Ikigai, okay.
Ikigai. Now, this book is a research done on people who have lived 100+ years. And they have wanted to find out what gave them such vitality, how at the age of 105, 106, 108, they're still happy and healthy. So not a single person who was interviewed was in the hospital. They were living a normal life. They are getting up like you. They are taking their bath regularly. They are doing their work. They are taking care of themselves. And most of them are on no medication. In fact, you should read this book along with your parents.
Right.
आज ये तो पढ़ा आपने, क्या क्या पढ़ा, चलो डिस्कस करते. So Ikigai is one book. Then this is a personal favorite of mine, a book called The Art of Thinking Clearly.
Okay.
It's by a guy called Rolf Dobelli. Art of Thinking Clearly. In about 2 pages, he explains human biases.
Okay.
And he explains how we are actually not smart, but we are so often completely stupid.
That's conflict.
For example, classic case, why do we buy things which we don't need when there is a sale? This is not the last sale on planet Earth.
There will always be.
There will be another sale. After 2 months, there will be another sale. After 6 months, there will be another sale. Why do we buy things when there is a sale when we don't need it? How often you ask people and they'll say, ये सेल में लिया था, यूज कर रहे हैं? नहीं, यूज नहीं किया अभी तक, लेकिन सेल में खरीदा था. You understand?
Right. Yeah.
Narayan Murthy of Infosys has only 8 sets of clothes.
Wow, really?
So 8 suit for working, 8 suit for another traveling holidays, 8 suit of clothes for sleeping, only 8 suits. He says, I don't need more than that.
Hmm.
And if he wants to buy one, he first takes out one set. And only then he can buy one, not otherwise.
Hmm.
Can you imagine a man who's worth probably 25,000 crores having only 8 sets of dresses? Like my formal shirts are my work sets, but I
Hmm.
will have 20 and he has 8. Why did I buy the balance 12?
Probably just because of a sale.
Or I liked it.
Right.
अरे मेरे पास ब्लू है ना 3, बड़ी कितना अच्छा लग रहा है.
Huh.
I love this book where Rolf Dobelli so brilliantly speaks about the kind of bias you and me have. I mean, as you read that book, you might beat yourself, you might be a little sheepish, you might grin, you might say, oh, this is exactly what I'm doing, oh my God. And you might also want to hide that book because that book will reveal a lot about who you are.
Right.
So, beautiful book called The Art of Thinking Clearly. Then here is a book which I believe every human being should read, and the name of the book is A Hero with Thousand Faces. It's by a guy called Joseph Campbell.
Okay.
A Hero with Thousand Faces.
Yes, sir.
He says the story of every hero in history is the same. Whether it is mythological figures like Ram and Krishna, or it is Mahatma Gandhi, or it is APJ Abdul Kalam, or it is Harry Potter.
Hmm.
Can you believe it? He says everybody's whole story is the same.
Kind of
And,
hard to believe.
and he goes on to explain how there are 6 stages in every stories, in every hero's life.
Hmm.
And you know, one of the first stages is all the heroes were once very, very ordinary people, completely ignored by everybody around them.
Hmm. Right. Absolutely.
I mean, you and me know Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi when he became Mahatma Gandhi. But when he was 18, 20, 21, who would have recognized him?
Correct.
So he says every hero has 6 stages of their life.
Hmm.
Now, if you watch Disney movies, the movies are plotted on the 6 stages of a hero's journey, according to Joseph Campbell.
That's an interesting outlook.
So whether it is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs,
Hmm.
or the Little Red Riding Hood, or Hansel and Gretel, all same stories. So when I read this, I was like, this is not possible. What nonsense.
Hmm.
But when I read the book, I was blown away. So very, very beautiful and worthwhile book called The Hero with Thousand Faces. You know, each one of this book that I'm sharing with you.
Hmm.
I'll talk. When I read this, it was electrifying.
Hmm.
So I read it purely out of curiosity. Okay, what nonsense is he speaking?
Hmm.
And I came back a reformed human being.
So,
So if you'd like to challenge your thinking,
huh.
and when you say, okay, prove me wrong, then you would may want to read this book.
Hmm.
You know, each one of this book that I am sharing with you will help you to open up a little more.
Huh.
So if you want, I can give you 30 books.
I think these four books will be the first ones we'll look at.
So I've given you 3 or 4. I've given you 3.
Three, sir.
Guy, Art of Thinking Clearly, Hero with Thousand Faces.
And
You've just frozen, Harshada. Hello. Okay. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Shreya.
Hi. I think Harshada is frozen.
Yes.
Harshada, is your audio on? Hello.
No, I think Harshada's audio is also not on. So, Shreya, would you like to take over?
Hi.
Hi. Ah, there
All
she's
right,
back.
she's back. Cool.
Yes, yes, she's back. Harshada is back. No, she's still frozen.
Okay, she's still frozen.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anyway, we were on the last question.
Yes.
So we'll just be taking the last question right now. Yeah. So one of the audience members wanted to know, like, what can you tell the youngsters right now, what they can do in their capacity to help out people?
Mm-hmm. Shreya? Shreya? Shreya?
Yes.
I lost you. I couldn't hear your question.
So we just wanted to know that this is the final question for the webinar. So what can us youngsters do right now in our capacity to help out people, since right now help is obviously needed in all ways.
So, uh, I really believe that if you can take care of the society where you stay, where if there are old people, if you can help them, if you can help others to maintain discipline in the society, I think that would be the best thing to do. If you can volunteer and support some youngsters who are going to school, but let's say the school is not happening or they are not able to learn enough, if you can help them from that way, I think these are the small things that you can do right now. Right now, the epidemic is such there, no big thing actually can be expected or delegated to very young people. Out there, the work is only for experts. Distribution of food, cooking of food, all has to be done under certain circumstances, under such situations. So the youth may not be required a lot in working over there. So just take care of the society where you stay. Ensure you pass on a positive things around. I'm a very big believer in positivity. And on your Instagram feed, on your Facebook feed, on your LinkedIn, if you're active in LinkedIn, if you can just share about the right things and the positive things which is happening in your life and around you, by you, that will be a very big help. Very big help.
Right. Okay. So, like with this, we'll wrap up the webinar session. Thank you so much for being on this. I'm pretty sure the entire audience loved it. We've had some great responses, especially on the live chat. Thank you so much for joining in.
Pleasure. It was such a beautiful pleasure to be with you. And I wish you and your whole team an awesome life. And may the youth of this country help this country to develop faster than anybody else in the world imagines.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wish you all the best and love you all. Bye.